Good evening, race fans, and welcome to the Team Goon Squad Pro Street Stock Series, guaranteed to be a great time here at the Iowa Speedway. A lot of money on the line for all of these drivers, a series with no fast repairs, 40% fuel alignment, and 3 tire sets available. We've got Joseph Penn acting as our race control tonight. Penn, a world-famous race control. He runs it for several different leagues, so always a pleasure having him here. And on behalf of TeamGoonSquad.com, I'm James East from the booth, bringing the action 1080p, 60 frames a second, as we get ready to grid up for tonight's race. Again, it's 175 laps at the 7/8 mile speedway. Guaranteed to be a good time because the season opener at Charlotte was a whole lot of fun, where Stephen Rex, Jordan Babinger, and Michael Vandermee were our top 3 drivers for the series debut. You had 2 dropping bombs racing cars finishing 1 and 2. Then you had Lodo Racing finishing 3rd and 4th for the team points. So a lot of talented drivers out there tonight, and looking forward to getting their team some much-needed points. But let's take it to the grid for tonight's race. You've got Jonathan Bronson starting on pole, Michael Vandermee starting 2nd, James Silver starting 3rd, Jordan Babinger starting 4th, Tyler Evans in the 553 machine starting 5th, Stephen Rex will be starting 6th, John Friley starting 7th, Mike Stoddard will be starting 8th, a stand-in in the number 99 machine for Tyler McRae. You've got Patrick Sullivan starting at 9th in the 16 machine. Radburn Shutter starting 10th. Jacob Veskinen starting 11th, barely getting here in time. Alex Penn, a fill-in for Team Goon Squad. He'll be starting 12th here today. Then you've got Andrew Neri starting 13th in the 654 machine. Mark Proctor, his teammate, starts right next to him in 14th. Brett Edgar starting 15th. Matt Baer starting 16th. And then you'll have Ryan Perkins rounding out our 17-car field here today, as we get ready to send them out on track and get ready to get this party started. As always, thank you to everybody from across the world that tunes in and supports your favorite drivers racing the Pro Series, as well as supporting the broadcast. We cannot do it without you guys, so it is always greatly appreciated. And it's going to be a good show here today. 175 laps, a lot of talented drivers all chasing both the nightly payout and the season payout. There's a team championship that pays out to the top 5 teams, as well as an individual payout for the individual driver with the highest points at the end of the season. Right now, the total team championship purse is already at $170 so far for the season. So great to see everybody coming out and supporting everything, and good to put on a good professional series, as a lot of folks are going to have a whole lot of fun. Again, thank you to everybody that's tuned in tonight. We've got Fear the Fun, Foon, Tyler McRae, Andrew Neri, the world-famous and beautiful Grace Neri tuning in as well as our race control Joseph Penn. So thank you all for tuning in tonight, as we're trying to wake up Michael Vandermee, the number 84 machine. There he goes. So what is going to happen here tonight? We did not see that many cautions at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Joe Campbell, he's tuning in, cheering on John Friley. So for the season opener at Charlotte, they went 150 miles, and we only had 2 cautions for 8 laps. And over the course of those 105 laps, including the green-white checker, we had 10 different leaders, 23 lead changes, with most of our drivers able to finish the race with a 0x. So all around, some really good, clean racing out there. We're going to do one sighting lap here at Iowa, and then we're going to send these drivers out on their way. Again, it's going to be Jonathan Bronson, Michael Vandermee starting 1 and 2. 2 different teams out there up front on the front row. So up front, it's kind of a mix between Dropping Bombs Racing and Lodo Racing, 2 of the dominant teams so far here. Out there on track, you've got Dropping Bombs Racing, you've got Lodo Racing, you've got Perkins Motorsports, East Action Motorsports, as well as Devil Core Racing. So several teams representing drivers today. We saw a few different fill-ins, as some drivers are out of town, some drivers unable to make it. But that's the beautiful part of the Street Stock Pro Series. You can sub out and keep your numbered car out there and scoring points. Each point is tied to the car and not the driver. So swapping around drivers in certain machines is always allowed and encouraged, but here comes the pace car in. Initial starts are on green here. And away they go. It's going to be Jonathan Bronson on the inside line. Michael Vandermee on the outside, number 84 machine. Behind them, you've got James Silvers, Jordan Babinger, the 21, the 28. Looks like Vandermee kind of checks up a little bit, or maybe he's getting a push from Babinger. It's hard to tell. As Bronson moves to that outside line, here comes James Silvers, number 21. He's going to dive it in low under the number 48 of Jordan Babinger and the 84 of Michael Vandermee. It looks like he gets a little bit of a wiggle there and drops off pace. So let's see, we saw one off track towards the back. That's going to be Ryan Perkins having a bit of a moment, but the caution does not come out. We're going to keep him clean and green, pointing the right direction. But look at this battle for first early on. It's Jonathan Bronson fending off Michael Vandermee and Jordan Babinger. They're going to go side by side. That's going to allow Silvers in the 21 and Mike Stoddard in the number 99 to maybe catch up a little bit. The more these lead drivers battle, the easier it makes for the cars behind them to use that draft, catch up, and put their nose in the mix. But you can tell he's been putting on the work as Jonathan Bronson drops the fastest lap of the race on 27.08. He's about 3 to 400ths of a second faster than the rest of the field that last time by, currently owning a quarter of a second advantage to second place Jordan Babinger. So it looks like about 2 packs spreading out. You've got your top 6 drivers all in a pack, and then you've got 7th place back. John Friley leading Tyler Evans, Radburn Shutters, Patrick Sullivan, Jacob Feskinen. So many fast and talented drivers here today as everybody's doing a fantastic job so far. We haven't seen that many big incidents. As even more side-by-side racing, you're watching Patrick Sullivan. He's on the inside line in the number 16. He's trying to get around Radburn Shutters in the number 42. But here comes Jacob Feskinen in the number 926 machine as well, charging hard. There's a lot of battling going on here for 11th place. Brett Edgar, he's in the mix, number 98 machine. Doing his best to get that high line working for him. A lot of great racing early on tonight. As again, this is the battle for the top 10 on screen. This isn't the battle for the lead or podium contention. They're going 3 wide at Iowa. That's Patrick Sullivan, Radburn Shutters, and Brett Edgar all in the mix here trying to make something happen. Nobody's willing to go single file just quite yet and click off laps. Everybody's pushing very hard, very early. It's a long race for these guys, 175 laps. It'll be very interesting to see what the pit stop window is going to be in these street stock machines. It takes so long to refill these machines. iRacing simulates it with a 5-gallon gas can held by your favorite redneck cousin, so it is quite the long pit stops under green. Last week we did have 2 green flag pit stops before the first caution came out on lap 81 of 100 for the season opener of Charlotte. But great to see all these competitors out there just clicking off laps. We're going to check back up front where it's still Jonathan Bronson leading Jordan Babinger, the number 48 machine. But look at this, Mike Stoddard, the number 99. He's up 5 spots already. Starting to get a bit of a groove. Ooh, that back end steps out just a little bit. But no harm, no foul. They keep it great. Michael Vandermee, the number 84 machine. He's down 2 spots, currently in 4th. He's going to be eyeing those cars in front of him going too wide and seeing, hey, if those guys can punch a little bit more air for me, I can work my way up and maybe make something happen. Behind Vandermee, you've got James Silvers 5th, Stephen Rex 6th. For those watching along at home, the top 50% of the field pays out tonight. So if we're looking at this right, that should be the top 8 finishers will be in the green, and they will get paid for tonight's activities. So everybody want to do their best to get up there and make something happen. Now these guys do have the fortunate thing is the top 15 pays out for points. 20 points for first, all the way back to 1 point for 15th. And we take the top 2 drivers for each team, and we combine their points for the points chase for the team championship, the prestigious team championship that all these guys are out there chasing. Team owners have a lot on the line as they all want that paycheck. Again, it's already up to $170 for the total purse. But the battle for lead just getting more and more hot as Mike Stoddard is going to run out front of the number 99 machine. He's around Bronson and Babinger. Always impressed with the caliber of racers we see here at the Pro Series, bringing out some of the best of the iRacing service as we do our best to put on the most professional street stock league you can find on the service. So great to see these guys representing themselves and their teams and their sponsors so well. We're going to cycle back. This is the battle for 7th on screen. Brett Edgar leading Patrick Sullivan and John Friley. Behind them, they've got Tyler Evans in the 10th spot. Evans not having the race he wanted. He's down 5 positions so far here today. But this is a very long race for these drivers. It's going to be a game of long runs. Who can keep the tires underneath them the best and make it all the way to the end? Stephen Rex, he's going to get around James Silvers in the number 21 machine. Now Rex's next target is going to be Vandermee in the 48. Now this is one of those tracks, historically for the first season of the Pro Series, we're running what is effectively a lot of plate tracks for the street stocks. That means while it is an open setup, there's no restrictor plates. And these cars, a 1.5 mile speedway feels like a super speedway in a modern car, and one of the Cup cars. So for Daytona, for Chance, or Talladega, where it's wide open in a Cup car, that is what the 1.5 milers feel like for these street stock racers. Now next season we're going to throw in more short tracks, but we do have a couple of kinks in this season where we're going to be running Bristol Dirt for one of the rounds, as well as Daytona Road for our one road course on this season. So it's good to see these drivers able to handle the tracks we've thrown at them so far this season, and we're looking forward to shaking it up even more. But look at this. Here comes Stephen Rex around the inside of Michael Vandermee. They're going to go side by side. Coming out of 4, will Vandermee carry just a little bit more speed as he keeps Rex pinned to the inside? Because Vandermee does have the advantage of using the draft of Jordan Babinger in front of him, but there's going to be teammates up there communicating, maybe trying to pick up Stephen Rex. Everybody in this top pack trying to find a dance partner and figure out where they're going to push as they go 2 wide, 2 rows deep. Vandermee is still sticking with this lead pack. James Silvers is slowly crawling into the picture as well, the number 21 machine. You've got to wonder who's pushing very, very hard in this early run and possibly burning up some tires, and who's playing it safe till the end. As lap traffic is already going to come into play here on they're getting ready to start lap 19. I believe that may be Ryan Perkins just in front of him. Perkins with Perkins Motorsports, the number 6 machine, was struggling to find a setup that worked well for him going in tonight. We talked to him in his hauler. It is a gentleman's rule that lap traffic must either yield the preferred line, if not, at least hold their line. So Perkins is going to hold the high line, allowing these faster cars to come up the inside line, doing his best not to get squeezed against the wall. So nothing but professionalism out here tonight. And all these guys are going to run it all the way to the end. I do not expect to see any competitors quitting, being down on laps, or having a rough night, because they know it just takes one incident and you can find yourself back in the points or possibly in the money. And it's a long season. It's a 12-week season with 2 drop weeks. So every race that you can get is beneficial to get out there for your team and click off some points. After the week 1 at Charlotte, you have Drop and Bombs Racing in the points lead for the team chase with 38 points. You have Low Dough Racing with 29 points. And I just noticed an oversight. We do not have Double Core on the overall points chase. These drivers still pushing hard, not having any big moments quite yet. So the current points chase is Dropping Bombs Racing out front with 38 points, Lodo Racing with 29 points, Devil Core Racing with 20 points, East Action Sports with 15 points, and you've got the Perkins Motorsports drivers out here today. Mark Proctor, Andrew Neri, Ryan Perkins trying to put down their first race points here of the day. They do have Andrew Neri running 14th, which is within the points gap. So far, so good. Race Control having a nice, easy night so far here today. We cannot thank Joseph Penn enough for stepping up as Race Control, allowing me to get in the booth and broadcast this bad boy live for all the viewers from across the world. And everyone doing a fantastic job so far. As right now, all 4 Dropping Bombs racing cars are out front, followed by James Silvers and Michael Vandermee. They're racing with Lodo Racing. So Lodo's going to do their best to catch up, maybe whittle away at the Dropping Bombs guys in front of them, and try and put themselves in the points lead. Now the Dropping Bombs guys, everybody's in their own team channels communicating with both drivers, crew chiefs, and spotters to make sure everybody's on the same strategy out here. So the Dropping Bombs guys and crew chiefs are going to be very, very careful not to put any of their cars in a position where they may accidentally crash themselves. The worst thing you can see as a team owner is some of your cars collecting themselves and seeing that points chase dwindle away. James Silvers looks like he's going to dive down low in front of his teammate Michael Vandermee, maybe communicating who's going to push and who's going to follow. They find themselves about 0.7 seconds back from that lead pack that's running single file, that 4-car group. Behind Silvers and Vandermee, you have Patrick Sullivan, Brett Edgar, Matt Baird, John Friley, making up our top 10 here today. 17 drivers started, 16 still on the lead lap. And everyone doing a great job out here today. And another, oh, there's a battle. That is going to be Tyler Evans in the 553 machine with East Action Sports and Andrew Neri with Perkins Motorsports having a very close moment with a little bit of contact. Andrew Neri heavily pressuring Tyler Evans in the 553 machine, looking for a way around. Meanwhile, you've got Alex Penn in number 53. He's watching his teammate battle hard ahead of him. They're getting quite close. This is the battle for 13th on screen right now between Evans and Neri. Evans not having a whole lot of luck with a long run. He's down 8 spots from where he started here today. They're just trying to maintain some track position, but he's going to go side by side with Neri in the 654 machine. We're going to take it on board with Alex Penn, the world-renowned road racer, as a fill-in driver for the number 53 Team Goon Squad car. He is filling in for Spencer Breslin today. Breslin unable to make it. Breslin planning on 2 weeks off, but now you've got a bird's-eye view of the battle in front of you as Neri and Evans still going side by side. Looks like Neri's going to have him clear going into the backstretch into turn 3. But we saw a little bit of contact, but everybody keeping it very, very good and professional all the way around the racetrack. We're going to check back up front. It's Mike Stoddard. He was still out front, but looks like he's going to allow Jonathan Bronson in the number 1 machine possibly to take a peek at it. They may cycle out their cars that are out in front. So Bronson will take over the lead. Stephen Rex second, Babinger third, Stoddard fourth in the number 99. So it's a great job seeing the stand-in drivers come out today. Andrew Neri, we just talked about him, also a stand-in driver for Perkins Motorsports. He's replacing Justin Wade this week, who made his first appearance last week for the Pro Series. Now, what's going to be interesting to me is, again, team owners can sub out drivers chasing that points gap. So let's say Bronson was the fastest last week and the number one. If his team owner, Tyler McRae, wanted him to switch car numbers, they could to put their best shot of putting one car all the way up front. But the question is for team owners, do they put their fastest guy up front the entire time? Or do they maybe cycle it in and out and then try and balance their team points a little bit? So that is the question of the night. Are there team orders in play for all of these drivers? Trying to balance either their team points and have more points spread across the team, or focus on putting one car very up front, as you see the lead pack coming around Mark Proctor, number 36 with Perkins Motorsports. But we are clicking off laps here at Iowa so far. Everybody keeping it very respectful, not having any problems. We've seen a couple of little bumper shoves, but no harm, no foul among our competitors. They're doing a good job keeping it clean. We are about 5 laps from the quarter of the way through mark. And then again, it is Bronson out front, Rex second, Babinger third, Stoddard fourth. All the dropping bombs guys out there pushing hard. And to cycle back to 5th place, Patrick Sullivan, a number 16 machine. Sullivan with Devil Core Racing. He scored 9 points for the team last week, and he's trying to do it again this week. As he's going to get chased by Vandermee and Silver's trying to make their way up there. Take a look at James Silver's number 21. He's still following his teammate Vandermee. Behind him, Matt Baer and Brett Edgar, who are up 8 and 6 positions each. So guys charging hard. Andrew Neri coming out of pit lane. Mark Proctor, Ryan Perkins all starting their pit cycle just a little bit earlier, making some adjustments on the car, trying to squeeze some more speed out of these street stock machines. And that is one of the fun parts about the Pro Series, is we've got a bunch of relatively slow race cars driven by very talented drivers trying to find the limit out there. Matt Baer running very strong, number 19 machine. He had a great showing last week at Charlotte. Baer was able to bring home 8th at the race, scoring some much-needed points for his team. He led 14 laps, and he did finish with a 0x for Devil Core. Last week at Charlotte was one of those races that almost seemed like it was won on pit strategy, as the drop and bombs guy had a very unique strategy. They came in a little bit early, short pitted, taking a little bit less fuel than they needed, and then came in later in the run after extending their lead. So it's going to be interesting to see the pit strategy that plays out here today. And that is hands down one of my favorite parts about calling long format races with very talented racers that don't end up being caution fest. It allows these guys to work on their racecraft just a little bit. But look at this, Vandermee, it looks like he's caught Patrick Sullivan in the number 16 machine. So these guys may form up and try and whittle away at that 1.5 second gap that the lead pack currently has, is dropping bombs just out there, clicking them off, making it look easy, running first through fourth together. Again, this is week 2 at Iowa. Next week we go back to a plate track, Homestead Miami Speedway for 100 laps. Then we go to Phoenix, Bristol Dirt, North Wilkesboro, Milwaukee, Atlanta, Daytona International Road Course, which should be super exciting. Then USA International Speedway, Texas Motor Speedway, and then finally the season finale at Las Vegas. So only a 12-week season with 2 drop weeks for the individual points championships. But great seeing everybody out there having a good time. The fill-in drivers doing spectacular. That's going to be Mike Stoddard in the number 99 machine. Alex Penn in the number 53. Andrew Nary in the 654. All fill-in drivers here today. And it looks like Vandermee and Silver's going to stay out while Patrick Sullivan comes in for a bit of a short stop. Does not appear anybody else is coming in with him, so I'm not sure if that's a team strategy to put people on different tire sets or what that might be. But so far, everybody keeping it nice and clean. Again, the dropping bombs guys running 1, 2, 3, and 4 with Bronson, Rex, Babinger, Stoddard. And we're going to take a look out of those dropping bombs guy. Out of all the cars listed, the number 28 machine has the most amount of points with 20. And then the number 48 machine has the second most amount of points. So again, not sure what the strategy is among Tyler McRae, the team owner, if he wants to try and score some points in the number 99 or the number 1 machine, or what the plan might be, or maybe just keep stacking things up and score points wherever they fall. So it's going to be an interesting thing to see as this season develops. McRae, the dropping bombs guys, run several other series. They're very experienced in open setup leagues. And just out here having a whole bunch of fun in a very stress-free environment. Again, it's a zero bad attitude tolerance league. With top-notch race control, making sure these guys stay pointed the right direction, keep their heads on. As Bronson getting a little bit of a breakaway, he's going to once again come up on lap traffic. I believe that's going to be Mark Proctor in the number 36 machine, I think. We're going to check on another newcomer to the Pro Series. Again, Alex Penn, number 53 machine, out there charging hard. He's in 11th place, up 1 spot so far. Just behind him, you see Radburn Shutters, the number 42 machine. We did have an off track by Ryan Perkins, able to get it pointed in the right direction. Again, no caution flag as of yet. But again, Alex Penn, a real-life go-kart racer. He attends the Skip Barber School. So good to see him out here in the oval doing his best to make something happen. Vandermee, number 84 machine. He's got about a second gap back to his teammate James Silvers. Matt Baer as well as Brett Edgar are starting to catch up just a little bit here. Now last week at Charlotte, we went 8/10 of the race before the first caution came out with such a talented field. So it'll be interesting to see if they can do it again here today. We are past the halfway mark. Everybody doing a good job keeping it clean and green. We haven't seen any overly aggressive moves from any of our competitors. It is a game about keeping the tires underneath you for these long runs. It's going to be interesting to see how the 40% fuel allotment affects these guys, as you see both the number 19 of Matt Baer and Brett Edgar, and really the entire field coming into pit lane. Bronson, Rex, Babinger, Stoddard, Baer, Edgar, Friley, all in pit lane. That's going to allow Michael Vandermee and James Silvers to get up front, but for how long before they have to come in for their pit stop? Vandermee and Silvers come in. Do we see Feskinen stay out? Nope, Feskinen's gonna, he is gonna stay out. So Feskinen's gonna stay out. He'll be our race leader at the line. Alex Penn, number 53 machine. Tyler Evans in the 553 coming in. So it looks like Feskinen, the number 926, is gonna be our lone driver that does not pit this cycle. How late is he gonna stay out as the rest of the field coming in around lap 55, 54. And now Feskinen's going to bring it in. So who's going to be the first car out of pit lane here? As Patrick Sullivan, number 16 machine, is going to try and get some laps back, staying out. He came in on lap 46 for a bit of a short stop. So it's going to be interesting to see what the move is from these drivers, how late everybody's going to stay out, and who's going to come in a little bit earlier for short stops. As Patrick Sullivan will get a lap lead here at Iowa, he's going to be followed by Jonathan Bronson about 3.5 seconds back. Jordan Babinger, Stephen Rex, Mike Stoddard are going to pull up the line as Feskinen is still in pit lane. Jeff Buchanan, he's cheering on the number 42 machine. That's going to be Radburn Shutters. Currently running 14th in place. He's about 4 spots down from where he originally started. But this is a long format race. They're not even to the halfway mark. We've clicked off 58 laps under green so far. As Patrick Sullivan's going to get one more lap led. Jonathan Bronson, second place in the number 1 machine. He's about 3 seconds back. But I've got to say, you know who's having it easier than the broadcaster here tonight? That's got to be race control Joseph Penn, who's just going to be chilling up in his booth, keeping an eye on everybody, listening to the driver radio, and kind of enjoying the evening here. Out of 17 drivers that started, 14 still on the lead lap. And Sullivan is a little bit losing ground here to Bronson, who is now 2 seconds back. But now that Bronson has some clean track ahead of him, getting through lap traffic, able to put his head down and start charging, but he is not supported by his teammates yet. He's got Jordan Babinger about 1.8 seconds back in third place, unable to help the number 1 machine quite yet. So if Bronson is going to catch Sullivan, it's going to have to be on his own accord. Now Sullivan did come in about 8 laps earlier than the rest of the field, who came in on lap 54. So what is the strategy going to be tonight? Sullivan's last time by a 27.15 compared to Bronson, who just clicked off a 26.93. So Bronson about 0.2 of a lap faster, slowly whittling away at that 1.5 second gap that Sullivan currently has. So in the next 10, 11 laps, he should have it relatively easily. Not even that long, 5 to 6 laps, excuse me. We're doing the math all wrong up here in the broadcast booth. Zach Sorrells, he's also hopping in, cheering on Radburn Shutters in the number 42 machine. So good to see so many fans from across the world tuning in, cheering on their favorite drivers. Radburn in the number 42, currently 14th on track. He's down 4 spots from where he started, but again, it is quite a long race here to get back up to the front. Radburn, he's racing with Low Dough Racing this week. He scored 4 points for the team last week. He finished 12th last week after finishing 12th, and he was still able to lead 4 laps, but he found himself with some heavy damage later on the race that really slowed down the drive of that Busch-sponsored race car. So good to see him out there today, running clean, trying to avoid that bad luck he ran into the other week. Patrick Sullivan still out there charging hard, but just now you can see Jonathan Bronson getting closer and closer. Bronson is about 0.5 seconds back coming out of turn 4. And then Sullivan will be the first car that has to contend with lap traffic. We covered it once in the broadcast, but as a reminder, it is a gentleman's agreement for lap cars to yield the preferred racing line to the leaders. And that completely goes out the window if they are battling for a position. So it's going to be interesting to see how Sullivan cuts through traffic here, as he's got Radburn Shutters, the number 42 machine, right in front of him, who may go a lap down here. Shutters navigating lap traffic on his own. That's going to be Perkins, number 6 machine. Oh! Almost a touch there between Sullivan, your race leader, and Bronson. Almost got in the back of number 16 machine. Bronson pushing very, very hard, looking at that inside line, trying to make something happen. So it is Devil Core and Droppin' Bombs Racing, the two teams that are going side by side for the race lead. It looks like Sullivan's going to get edged out here as Bronson drifts up the racetrack just a little bit. And once more, a drag race down the backstretch. Bronson has the inside line. Can he make it stick coming out of 4? I believe he's going to be clear of Steven Rex. They're both going to drift up the racetrack, throwing a little bit of a block on Sullivan, but nothing too bad. Excuse me, that's Bronson and Sullivan battling for the lead, so no love lost between the two competitors. Doing a great job out there, putting on a great show, but here comes lap traffic, and that's where things can get very, very exciting for our leaders. Now, if we keep on the same strategy we're at, you can expect Sullivan to come in on lap about 92, as opposed to Bronson, if he stays on his same strategy, will come in on lap 108. So 56 laps is the longest stretch we've seen any of our drivers do out here. That was Jacob Feskinen in the number 926 coming in for a very late pit stop. So it's going to be interesting to see which drivers hold their same pit strategy and which drivers kind of mix it up as the race goes on. Jonathan Bronson cutting through lap traffic. That's Radburn Shutters. He's getting around the number 42 machine. Now he's going to work on Jacob Feskinen and the number 926. Bronson clicking it off, making it look easy. So I believe that is Feskinen and Alex Penn just ahead of your race leader, Jonathan Bronson. Bronson not losing a whole lot of time here. His last time by at 27.06 compared to Sullivan about a 27.19. Those lap times have been very consistent all the way around tonight. So these guys that are putting the work on setups definitely paying off. Before every official Pro Series race, we do host a practice lobby open to all the drivers in the Pro Series. So some guys are taking advantage of that, dialing in those setups just a little bit more as Bronson gets around Jacob Feskinen in the number 926. Now he's going to work on Alex Penn, number 53 machine. He is lapped up to 13th place right now. He's about to pick up 12. Alex Penn came in a lap 55 for his pit cycle. So he's on a relatively same set of tires as Bronson, but I believe Penn Racing and iRacing provided setup instead of a custom one. So over the long run, you can really tell the difference out here, especially when you're not in a draft and pushing air all by yourself. That really allows these open setup guys to shine and show how much speed they can put down. Now Bronson's going to work on the number 654 machine of Andrew Neri. Before that, he's got Mark Barker to lap down at 36. He's able to get around nice and easy, no problem. Andrew Neri also yielding the high line to the race leader. Patrick Sullivan second on track. He's about 1.7 seconds back from Jonathan Bronson, about 1.7 seconds ahead of third place, Jordan Babinger. And we've got a battle for 12 heating up. That's going to be Jacob Feskinen, Alex Penn going side by side. Team owner Jacob Feskinen for Lodo Racing and stand-in driver for East Action Sports, Alex Penn, are going to be duking it out. Everybody trying to score the most amount of points they possibly can, but these guys as well are going to come up on Andrew Neri, who is currently running 11th on track. Some of the guys getting more and more comfortable as the race progresses, getting a little bit more used to the car and the track, especially those guys that were not able to put down a whole lot of practice time this week or work on setups. A large portion of the field is on a basic setup, not doing a whole lot of custom work. Now these guys have to know when they're going side by side like this, they're not going to be able to catch up to Andrew Neri, the 654 machine, who's currently 11th on track. Now surely they can't keep this up side by side for so many laps in a row. Is Jacob Feskinen going to burn up his tires prematurely on that low line? Or is he going to finally get clear of Penn and number 53 machine? It doesn't look like it because they're side by side once more going into 3, and they're quickly approaching the rear bumper of the 654 machine, Andrew Neri. This is about to be a 3-car battle for 11th. They're about 5 seconds back from 10th place, Brett Edgar. And these guys are putting on quite a show out there today. Ooh, are they going to make it 3 wide down the backstretch? They touch. They get hooked. Oh, what was that? Feskinen and Penn get into each other. They collect Andrew Neri, who is just an innocent bystander. Andrew Neri is going to bring it into pit lane here. But things are just getting more and more heated. Oh, they're 3 wide again up front of them. That's Jacob Feskinen and the number, I believe that was the 48, getting into each other. The 48 is the second place car. That's Jordan Babinger, who's just trying to get by with his teammate Patrick Sullivan to get ahead of lap traffic. But these guys are all battling for position here. So no one's quite willing to yield, as well as Patrick Sullivan, the number 16 machine. He's a lap ahead. So lap traffic is kind of intermingled here with the lap down guys. As I believe we saw Feskinen give a good hearty bump to, I believe that was Patrick Sullivan, number 16 machine. My, oh my, are they racing hard here tonight at Iowa, putting on quite a show for all of our spectators. So Alex Penn, number 53 machine, and Jacob Feskinen may be battling minor damage as Andrew Neri took a big hard hit in the 654 machine when they went 3 wide. Still avoiding that caution flag we always worry about. Out front is Jonathan Bronson, who's checked out. He's got a 3.3 second gap over Jordan Babinger, currently on screen. He is second place, number 48 machine. He's accompanied by Steven Rex in the number 28. Patrick Sullivan is about a half second back in the blue and white 16. I've got to say, out of 87 laps, pretty much at the halfway mark tonight, that was the most exciting moment we've seen. We do show a crash. It's Ryan Perkins, number 6 machine, but the caution did not come out. Cautions are thrown exclusively by iRacing unless there is an egregious miss that should be called for track safety reasons. So we're going to keep it clean here as we get ready to start lap 90 of the second round of the Pro Street Stock Series. And is it again, it is 3 drop-in bombs racing drivers out up front. Patrick Sullivan in the number 16. He's racing for Devilcore Racing, trying to help squeeze his team up higher in the points. Right now, before tonight's event, they're about 9 points from second in points, Lodo Racing. While dropping bombs racing 38 points. So still lots of points to be made up for all of their teams here today. Everybody out there charging hard. It'll be a season of attrition. Who can get the most consistent finishes all season long? But always a great time seeing these long green flag runs. Check on race leader Jonathan Bronson, who's out there just making it look easy in the number 1 machine. He's got a 3.1 second gap over his second place teammate Jordan Babinger and about a 3.4 second gap over third place. 10 drivers still on the lead lap here today. Everybody charging very, very hard, making it look relatively calm and consistent. We go back a little bit further. You've got Radburn Shutters and Jacob Feskinen. They're battling hard, 2 teammates. You've also got the number, I believe that's the number 99 of Mike Stoddard as the caution comes out for the first time here today. And we're going to try and grab you the instant replay here and see what just happened. It's going to be Ryan Perkins, the number 6 machine. Let's see what happens and what transpires. Perkins, the team owner of Perkins Motorsports, coming out of 2, has a little bit of a wiggle there. And it just kind of gets loose on him. So very odd. Oh, boy. Everybody having to dodge and weave to avoid the number 6 careening across the racetrack. Able to keep it a single car incident. So that will bring out the first caution of the night and really shake things up here today. So if you're watching along at home today and it's your first time enjoying the Pro Street Stock Series, first of all, welcome. Second of all, thank you so much for tuning in. And a little bit of an update on the rules for those following along at home so you understand what's happening. If you cause 1 yellow here for the Pro Street Stock Series, you receive an EOL. If you cause 2 cautions, you get a stop-and-go penalty that must be served under green flag conditions, a 30-second stop-and-go. And if you cause 3 yellow flags, you are parked for the evening. So now Tyler Evans, in the number 553, appears to be the race leader. as we cycle around under caution. Evans finished 11th in his season debut last week with 0 incident points in the 5.53. So it's great to see him out there running strong. He is going to come into pit lane after the rest of the field. Maybe just trying to stay on the lead lap here, because it is quite the long pit stop in these street stock machines. While normally a NASCAR Cup car, you're in and out with 4 tires and a tank of gas in about 14, 15 seconds. It is about a 41 to 53 second pit time here in the street stocks. These drivers had about 80 laps left in the race. Now it's going to look like Matt Bear will be out front in the number 19. Bear currently up 15 spots here so far, with a very, very short pit stop, only in his box for 33.7 seconds. So not quite filling it up to the brim, allowing himself to put track position over everything. Bear, who's racing with Devil Core. Again, it's everybody's first time out here this season. Matthew Bear also finished with a 0 incident point last week at Charlotte, where he was able to take 7th place. He started 19th last week and was able to finish that 7th or 8th place spot, and he led 14 out of 105 laps. It'll still be 10 drivers on the lead lap. Lucky dogs are in effect. No manual wave arounds. As Mike Stoddard in the number 99 machine appears to have taken a tow to pit lane. Not quite sure what happened there. We're going to get ready to re-rack him. We see a lucky dog in effect. I believe that might have been the 926. Or that, no, that was Brett Edgar, the number 98 machine, who will get a wave around. We're going to get him formed up, get ready to send him back out there for a final 75-lap shootout. Now, again, we've seen drivers pit as early as 46 laps and as early as 54 laps. Pace car is in. It's Matt Bear and Jonathan Bronson out front. That was quite the restart there at the back of the pack. And look at this, they're 4 wide. This will never end well. There's carnage already. It's the number 53. I believe that's going to be Alex Penn, as well as I believe that might have been Ryan Perkins getting involved with each other. And John Fry in their 06 machine absolutely charging hard. He's trying to get around. I believe that's going to be Feskin in the number 926 machine that finds himself a lap down. We're going to check up front where it's been Bronson once again up front. Bavinger second. Matt Bear third, who is still up 13 positions. So very, very interesting to see how things are shaking up. And up front, these guys doing a fantastic job. Matt Bear still charging very, very hard in the number 19 machine. Look at that. He gets a bit of a run on the 48. Nowhere to put it. There he goes, diving down the inside. He's going to try and make something happen on Babinger. Matt Bear driving the wheels off that thing for Delacour. Behind him, you've got James Silvers, Michael Vandermee, 2 Lodo Racing teammates. You could throw a blanket over the top 3 cars right now, as everybody's doing a great job keeping it clean, pushing very, very hard. Jonathan Bronson, Jordan Babinger, 2 teammates out front. No, hey, we got to get this thing going quickly because Matt Bear, the number 19, is charging hard. And as soon as Bear starts really pressuring these guys and possibly making them run defensive lines, that's going to allow Silvers, Vandermee, and Sullivan to catch up. Bronson, Babinger, Bear doing a great job out front. They're all dropping 26.8s their last time by. All 3 competitors running almost identical lap times, running first through third. They are tight in the draft here, so that will not allow these professional setup builders to really shine as much as when they're out there by themselves. The draft is able to circumvent a lot of the issues these guys could have because Matt Bear, number 19, is charging very, very hard, doing his best to get on the rear bumper of the 48, Jordan Babinger. I think it's very early on in the race. You're not going to see any bump and run attempts from anybody at this stage, but he's going to get set up for it. And more importantly, he's taking a bit of data, watching what these guys in front of him are doing as Matt Bear charged up the inside of Jordan Babinger. Looks like he's going to make it stick and drop in line behind Jonathan Bronson. Matt Bear kind of coming out of nowhere this race. But he does not have the benefit of 2 teammates to work with, such as Bronson and Babinger. They make very light contact there, but no harm, no foul. James Silvers, Michael Vandermee, Patrick Sullivan, all watching what's going on in front of them. The pack's much, much tighter than it has been earlier tonight. Now the question is, when are we going to see these guys pit again? And it could be as early as lap 135 to 140. Or they could try and stretch it out or possibly even come for an undercut. We don't see many cautions here for the Pro Series. So drivers kind of bank on that, doing their best to get those good green flag runs. As we've seen 1 green flag stop tonight, are we going to see another? Because it looks like Bronson and Babinger are getting into a groove with the 2 teammates, able to stretch it out just a little bit over Matt Bear, who's quickly about to be joined by the number 21 of James Silvers. "65 laps left to go for these competitors. Things have the potential to get shaken up with the team points. So we still have 2 dropping bombs drivers out front. But now you've got Delacour in 3rd and Lodo in 4th and 5th. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens here today. Is Matt Bear able to catch back up to Jordan Babinger's bumper of the 48 machine? So you may see another move from Bear as he's putting down the gas, trying to extend that gap between himself and Silvers. Silvers about a half second back right now, with his teammate Michael Vandermee glued to the back of him, currently in 5th place. This is some good, tight racing here today. All these guys doing a fantastic job. Very impressed with the driving we're seeing from all of our competitors. as you're on board with Matt Baer, that lead he's had, excuse me, that gap he's had to the race leaders of Bronson and Babinger has been kind of going back and forth seesawing. Sometimes he's within 1/10, sometimes it's about 4/10 of a second, as he's carrying so much speed out of turn 4 down the start and finish line straight, trying to catch up to Babinger to see if he can make something happen here. These street stock machines, so fun to drive, but look at this, here he goes, looking to the inside of the number 48 Babinger. We've seen this move a couple times. They're gonna go side by side, coming out of turn 4. Is that gonna allow Silvers and Vandermee to reel in just a little bit? As Baer unable to make the pass stick, being held down that inside line, cooking up a little bit more tires than his competitor. Now Baer had one of the shortest pit stops of everyone else, so how much fuel will he have on this run to try and make it to the very end? Or are we going to see Baer, number 19, take a short stop? We can't stress enough that he is up 13 spots from where he started here today, so he's had a massive run. And he's in a great position to score his team a whole lot of points to get them back on the board, or at least into the second place spot here today. Michael Vandermee currently running in 5th. He's trying to pressure his teammate James Silvers to pick up the speed just a little bit, because right behind him, he's got Patrick Sullivan and the number 99, who is, I believe, at least one lap down, Mike Stoddard, who had internet issues. Stoddard and Sullivan going to go side by side, so one car laps down, trying to battle with the lead lap cars. We've also got Steven Rex, number 28 machine. He's in the mix as well. Rex currently running 7th on track. Up front, Bronson and Babinger putting on an absolute show right now, but the top 7 drivers are separated by less than 2 seconds over a very long race. We're on lap 118 out of 175, and they're still pushing, still digging deep. Or are we going to see Matt Baer take another charge to the lead? Or is the first battle here going to be between Sullivan and Vandermee, the number 16 of Sullivan, pushing Vandermee down the racetrack, trying to get this party just a little bit faster to catch up to the lead pack, but they're going to go side by side. They make contact between Sullivan and Vandermee. Vandermee able to hold on to it. Oh boy, 55 laps remaining. We're starting to see those bumpers come into use here. That's going to allow Steven Rex, number 28 machine, to pick up an easy spot over Vandermee. But here comes Vandermee back on the inside. He says, hey, I want back up there. I want in that mix. That's my spot. So he's going to push up the racetrack, see if he can catch up to the guys in front of him. But right now, he's got about a half a second disadvantage to the pack right in front of him. Patrick Sullivan trying to make moves here in the number 16 machine. He's up 4 spots from where he started now. He's working on James Silvers, the number 21 machine. He's also got the number 99, Matt Stoddard. We know Stoddard's a very fast driver, but he is unfortunately a lap down due to those connectivity issues. He's actually 2 laps down. So Stoddard's biggest hope right now to put himself in good contention if the caution does come out, try and get the lucky dog. Alex Penn, number 53 machine, he comes into pit lane for an early pit stop. Now, if anybody pits here and they take a full tank of gas, hypothetically, they should be able to make it to the very end. But the longer these guys stay out right now, the shorter their pit stop will be for the final stop. Here comes Sullivan trying to look at the inside of Silvers. Stoddard's still pushing very, very hard, the number 99 machine, racing like it's the lead lap, so he's still out there charging hard. I believe he is in lucky dog condition, so if the caution does come out, it will favor him the most, but he would need two more cautions as he drifts up into Stephen Rex, number 16 machine. Rex gets offline, loses a little bit of momentum. Excuse me, Sullivan gets pushed wide. Rex, the number 28 machine, watching this battle in front of him. You're on board with Stephen Rex, who's watching this heated battle in front of him as everybody's trying to find a spot to get through here. Oh, look at that save. Stoddard gets all sorts of sideways and really loses a whole lot of momentum there. Sullivan still trying to catch up to 4th place James Silvers. Out front it is again Bronson, Babinger, Bear. As you've got Alex Penn leaving his pit stall on his last pit stop of the night with any sort of luck. Now all of these guys, especially the drivers that find themselves a lap down, have got to be hoping for green flag runs for the rest of the race. We've got 10 drivers still on the lead lap as Bronson and Babinger cutting through traffic, working as a team. Mark Proctor yields the high line. That's going to allow Bronson, Babinger, and Bear through nice and clean coming out of turn 4. Nobody wants to slow up any momentum here. That last time by, it was Bronson with a 27.01, Babinger with a 26.89, and Bear with a 27.21. Now part of that is going to be who can navigate traffic the best and not lose any momentum here at Iowa. Are we going to see Matt Bear, currently 3rd on track, get up to the race leaders Bronson and Babinger and maybe use that front bumper at the tail end of the race? Or is he too far back where he may be looking at this going, you know what, a 3rd would be pretty spectacular for the team here tonight? Because right now he's got a 1 second gap over 4th place James Silvers and Patrick Sullivan. As your race leaders Bronson and Babinger are going to come into pit lane, Matt Bear stays out. Stephen Rex, this is your battle right now for 4th, as Rex is watching Vandermee, Silvers and Sullivan battling out for now the 2nd place spot. Matt Bear staying out. Tyler Evans, he's coming into pit lane. So now your race leader with about 43 laps left to go is going to be Matt Bear, the number 19 machine with Devilcore Racing. He's got Patrick Sullivan, Stephen Rex over a second behind him. As Sullivan still having a battle with lap traffic out there. Now these guys, hypothetically, if they took full fuel stops, should be able to stretch it out to lap 149 before they come in. But I think the plan is to see some of the drivers come in a bit early, so that way they don't have to full fuel up as much to make it to the end. There's one, or I think there's one green-white checker attempt for all of these events. Now as the pit cycles are still cycling in and out, there's 5 drivers on the lead lap. The number 99 of Mike Stoddard doing everything in his ability to get his laps back. He is still 2 laps down right now. And he's even on track right now, just ahead of Patrick Sullivan and Stephen Rex. He's about 2 seconds back from the race leader, Matt Baer. And just like that, a fastest lap has been set by Jonathan Bronson in the number 1 machine. Clicks off a 26.69. Coming out with fresh tires and maybe not quite a full gas tank, just enough fuel to make it to the end. Talking to his crew chief, doing the math, saying, hey, how much do I need to make it to the end and account for a green-white checker without having to fuel save? Last week at Charlotte, we saw some drivers not even able to do victory burnouts after running out of gas at the start-finish line. Matt Baer's out front, but look at this, the battle for second. It's Stephen Rex, Patrick Sullivan going side by side. Rex has the advantage, number 28 machine on the low line. Sullivan on the high line, number 16. Now Sullivan did not have the race he wanted last week at Charlotte, involved in a couple of spectacular incidents at the 1.5 mile speedway. So great to see him out here, still running strong today. All of these guys are absolute champions. That's why we call it the Pro Series. There's not a whole lot of money on the line, but it attracts some of the best drivers in the business. Everybody running very, very clean, just clicking it off, making it look relatively smooth and easy. Because we have 35 laps left in tonight's main event. We're expecting the fuel window to close for some of these drivers in the next 10 laps before they absolutely have to come in on fuel. So up front, it's Baer, Rex, Sullivan, Edgar, Bronson, your top 5. 4 drivers still in the lead lap after not taking their pit stops yet. We're expecting one more pit stop for these drivers before they can make it to the end on fuel. I think at this point they've got to be hoping for a caution to come out and try and put everyone else down a lap and keep them there. Sullivan getting a little bit of room to breathe here. Doing his best to try and catch Stephen Rex, who now finds himself about 0.8 seconds ahead of your third place driver. Matt Baer still out front, charging hard, just clicking off lap times. Now Matt Baer, your race leader, is going to bring it into pit lane for the final time. That's going to allow Stephen Rex and Patrick Sullivan to take over the race lead. How much longer are these guys going to be able to stay out for? So now Stephen Rex, number 28 machine, will be your race leader and get a lap led here at Iowa. So it looks like Stephen Rex is going to have a little bit of help from lap traffic to maybe push his way up as Matt Baer comes out of pit lane. So right now it's Rex, Sullivan, and Edgar, your top 3 drivers, and neither one of which have pitted since lap 93 or 94. We're expecting about 3 more laps left of fuel for these drivers, and they completely filled up their last time by. But this is going to be quite the evening. Will Bronson be back out front after the top 3 complete their pit cycle? Edgar, number 98 with Devil Core, the team owner, he comes into pit on lap 147. Stephen Rex, Sullivan, and Sullivan both staying out for just a little while longer, running 1 and 2, nose to tail. Jonathan Bronson, he's got the most laps led here today, I believe, in the number 1 machine. He's a whopping 49 seconds back from your race leader, but a pit lane time is anywhere between 59 to a minute long seconds. We saw Stephen Rex's last pit stop was 1 minute and 17 from the time he entered the cones to the time he left the cones. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens here on pit lane as Bronson makes his way through lap traffic. It's going to be Tyler Evans, the number 553. As we're going to check back up front with Stephen Rex, who has about a 1.7 second gap over Patrick Sullivan. As a reminder, the number 99 machine, Mike Stoddard, the fill-in for Tyler McRae today, is a lap down. So this is not the battle for the lead on track right now. It's a 1.8 second time difference between first and second, but both of these guys have got to be coming into pit lane soon, or at least planning on it for their final top off. If I'm doing my math right, they should come out on track about 10 seconds behind Jonathan Bronson, depending what type of strategy they go for. Now, they may come in and just add just barely enough fuel to make it to the end on a wing and a prayer, as Bronson did have a fairly short pit stop that last time by at 30.6 seconds in the box pit stop. But let's see if and when Rex and Sullivan are going to finally come in. It's 25 laps left to go here. And just like that, Rex is going to come in. Will Sullivan follow? He does. So that should make your new race leader, Jonathan Bronson, once he laps his way around the cars in pit lane. Bronson has a 2.3 second advantage over James Silver's number 21 machine. But Silvers and Vandermee could find themselves in a spectacular position here to put 2 of their Lodo racing cars on the podium. Now Vandermee with Lodo, he did get a 3rd last week at Charlotte, so he is no stranger to the podium. Jonathan Bronson, he was involved in a heavy crash last week as well. Bronson ended up finishing 14th last week. Not the night that he really wanted, but trying to make up for it here today. So if the number 1 can keep his head down, if he did his fuel calculations correct, he's looking great for a possible podium, as Silvers is still about 2.8 seconds back. Stephen Rex comes out of pit lane and 3rd on track. And right now it is 8 drivers out of 17 that started, still on the lead lap, out there pushing very hard. James Silver is currently 2nd on track. He's about 2.9 seconds back from race leader Jonathan Bronson. But he also has a 1 second advantage over Stephen Rex, number 28 machine. Rex is going to be charging very hard in the black and red, number 28. You can see Silver's just on the left side of your screen. That is the target for Rex, doing his best to catch up and try and get that sweet spot. He's already in podium contention for his team, but he wants to make it 1 and 2 for the team owner. Just try and maximize the points they can bring home tonight. Now Silvers, who's currently, oh, look at that. Stephen Rex drops a very fast lap time at 26.68. So a new fastest lap time for the race as Rex is driving the wheels off the number 28, and he's already caught to the rear bumper of Silver's. You can expect for him to make a move and for him to do so very, very quickly. He's going to dive to the inside of Silver's. Is Silver's going to defend? No, he's going to let him by, realizing Rex is a man on a mission right now. Rex is up 4 positions from where he originally started. He's going to use the draft both in front and behind, using lap traffic and James Silver's to maybe whittle away at that 3-second gap that Jonathan Bronson currently has. We've got 19 laps left to go. Is Rex and Silver's going to be able to work together to catch the race leader Bronson, who now has a 2.8 second advantage. So Bronson's losing a little bit of time here, but he could also be keeping some in reserve, not wanting to push too hard when he's all by himself. Maybe save some tires towards the end of the race. You also got the battle for 5th on screen. That is Patrick Sullivan, the number 16 machine. He's following Jordan Babinger in the number 48 machine. Sullivan currently running 6th, Babinger 5th, both trying to get those top 5 points. Again, it is a game of points and consistency here for the Pro Series. If you win one race for your team, that's fantastic. But these guys want to get up there and battle up front. It looks like Silver's has fallen off the pace a little bit. He's about 0.9 seconds back from Steven Rex. Rex was about 1/10 of a second faster than Jonathan Bronson, your race leader that time by. Now at this current pace, if both Bronson and Rex run their identical last lap times for the remainder of the race, Rex will not have enough time to catch up Bronson. He needs a little bit more time or a whole lot more laps to run this pace and catch up. Rex will have a little bit of lap traffic to contend with, but he's gained a whole lot of time. He was 0.2 faster than race leader Jonathan Bronson that last time by. So at this pace, if he can maintain 0.2 faster with 15 laps left to go, he does have a hope of catching up to Jonathan Bronson. But if he finds himself going too wide with lap cars that long, that will not help him out. He's going to count on Mark Proctor, number 36 machine, to fall in line here and try and get him closer up to the front. Matt Baer comes in once more, the number 19 machine. Not sure what that's about. Maybe realizing he will not have enough fuel or could have some sort of mechanical going on in the car. Jordan Babinger and Patrick Sullivan going side by side down the backstretch. This is the battle for 4th on screen right now. Ahead of them, they've got a 6-second disadvantage to James Silvers, who's currently in podium contention. Oh no! Is the caution going to come out? No caution as Sullivan and Babinger get into each other very, very hard. Two different teams having a big, big moment there. Sullivan racing with Devil Core. Babinger racing with Drop-In Bombs Racing and other series. Both of those guys are usually on the same team. But how much damage is Babinger going to have the number 48 machine, or are we going to see a post-race protest after this one? As now Sullivan has squarely secured the 4th place spot. Babinger, he's about 0.9 seconds back from 4th place. Patrick Sullivan. We've got 11 laps left to go here at Iowa for round 2 of the Pro Series. And it has been quite the exciting race. Only one caution so far here tonight. And all these guys doing a fantastic job all the way around. 10 laps to go. Steven Rex has whittled down the gap to 1.7 seconds between himself and race leader Jonathan Bronson. Now Bronson seems to have got on the pace a little bit harder that last time by, as he puts down a 27.09 compared to Rex with a 26.97. 9 laps to go. It's a 1.6 second gap. It looks like he might not be able to make it happen, but as we've seen time and time and again, never discount anything at the Pro Series, as our season opener was decided under a green and white checker. So up front it's Bronson, second place Rex, third place James Silvers, Patrick Sullivan's in fourth, Jordan Babinger in fifth. And it looks like there's going to be some new names and faces in podium contention for round 2 here today. Babinger still within striking distance of Sullivan after that late race contact between the two drivers. But look at that, the number 99, he's got internet problems once more. That's going to be Mike Stoddard trying to fill in as a replacement driver, but having a very rough night. The number 99 dropping bomb sponsored race car. Now both of these guys are catching up to James Silvers as well. It's down to a 3-second gap between Sullivan and Silvers. And Babinger as well, really catching up to Silvers. The back number 16 machine is getting tantalizingly close for the number 48 Jordan Babinger. All the while, they are rapidly reeling in at James Silvers, the number 21 machine. It's 5 laps left to go. They're about 2.6 seconds away from podium contention. Now, if these guys start battling too hard at this point, they have all but thrown away their chances of a podium spot. So it's going to be interesting to see if the two different teams work together to try and catch Silvers with a 2.5 second advantage over these two guys, or if they're going to battle it out for 4th place, each trying to score themselves a little bit better points. Now Babinger, if he does finish in front of Sullivan, he does not help his team out a whole lot because they've got Dropping Bomb's car currently in 1st and 2nd out here on track. But it will edge out Devil Core just a little bit, taking those 4th place points away from them and possibly affecting the season much later on. This is the battle for 4th on screen right now because Bronson, Rex, and Silvers are fairly far apart from each other up front with 3 laps left to go. Ooh, it looked like Babinger was getting set up for the good old-fashioned bump and run. Edgar, he comes in for a very late pit stop in number 98 machine. May having to top off on fuel, not quite able to make it to the end. But here comes Babinger on the inside line. It hits Sullivan with a bit of a slide job, seems to make it stick. The white flag should be coming out the next time Bronson comes by. And just ahead of them, they can see James Silvers, who's now 1.9 seconds ahead of these two drivers. The white flag is out. Now Babinger and Sullivan do have lap traffic ahead of them as the checker flag flies. We're going to keep the camera right where it is. Jonathan Bronson's going to win it for the first time here for the Pro Series. Rex will get 2nd, Silver's 3rd, but here's the battle for 4th on screen as Sullivan and Babinger are going to duke it out all the way to the line. Who's going to have it here at the end? It looks like it's going to be Babinger just by a little bit here as Bronson celebrates in style in the number 1 machine. What a great race from all of these competitors. So it's going to be dropping bombs racing finish 1 and 2 with James Silvers with Lodo Racing putting it third on the box. We're going to try and get our drivers up here into pit lane for their post-race interviews as the fireworks fly here at Iowa. All right, we're going to grab James Silvers in the number 21 machine, grabbing his podium for the season. Well done, James. I mean, that was a great run all the way around. How'd it go from your point of view here tonight?
Man, that was a long race. We did a good job trying to get it adjusted and everything during the race because if you watched at the beginning, they was faster than us, and I couldn't figure out why. But we just kept adjusting the tire pressure and trying to get it fixed all night. But ended up running pretty good. I'm surprised we went on strategy like that, but it ended up pretty good for me. I thought for a minute I was going to have to pit because we was almost out of gas. That's why I was saving really hard right there at the end.
Well, James, it seemed like it was a good, long, clean race for you guys. I mean, were you surprised with only one caution, or were you expecting it to go green the whole time, or what was your expectations going into Iowa here today?
Well, I'm kind of shocked that we only had one caution, but it's really good to see us all running clean and running fast and staying out of people's way and giving lanes. It's pretty nice racing in this league. I ain't gonna lie. I like racing all the people that we've been racing with so far.
Well, James, great job as always out there. Always a pleasure having you up on the podium, and again, winning some points for Lodo. I believe that's the second podium in a row for you guys, so well done getting the team some much-needed points. Before we let you sign off and celebrate, who would you like to give a shout-out to that's supporting you here today?
Got to shout out the Cornerstone boys. Always got to shout out the Cornerstone boys and people back in Waynesville. Always got to shout out to them. And shout out to Lodo Racing and Jacob. I know he came in a little bit late, but we had a pretty good race, and he was kind of frustrated, but we built a pretty good setup to end up third place tonight.
Well, great job as always, James. Hope to see you up here more often, my friend.
All right. Pleasure talking to you, James. Have a good night, man.
You as well, sir. Up next, you've got Steven Rex in the number 28 machine. Steven, that looks like you had to work real hard for second place tonight, my friend.
Yeah, definitely. I think I had something for Jonathan at the end if I could have been a little bit closer. You know, he short pitted that last pit stop, so he got to run, I don't know, 8, 10 laps with fresher tires, and I think that was my mistake. If I could have came out and been a little closer, caught his draft at the end, it would have been good. It was fun. It was great. I think we had one caution.
Yep, one caution tonight out of 175 laps. I'd say that's pretty darn good. Now, Steven, coming into this season, were you expecting pit strategy to play such an important role? Or, I mean, it's effectively plate racing in these street stock machines on these more open tracks. But, I mean, what were you expecting going into this?
I kind of always expect it. You know, you're always going to get that short run, and the decision is, you know, let's say you needed 4 gallons, you know, to finish the race. Do you do that in the middle? Do you do it at the end? You always take that chance of doing it at the beginning, but you could get out ahead and lead some laps, put people a lap down. But if that yellow doesn't come out, you know, then you're behind, you know, behind the 8 ball at the end.
Well, Steven, you always do a great job, as always, keeping that machine looking nice and shiny all the way to the end, well representing your team as well. I mean, you guys got to be happy. I mean, at one point, it was 4 dropping bombs car running first through fourth. So, I mean, you guys have got to be happy as a team as well, right?
Oh, absolutely. Mike was having some maybe graphic card issues. His screens kept going black. You know, unfortunate for him. He was on the. We're all actually all on the same setup, so we're all going to be fairly close. But yeah, I wish he could have made it to the end.
Well, you guys looked great out there again, extending that points lead for the team. Now, Steven, before I let you sign off, who would you like to give a thank you that's kind of helping you out behind the scenes and keeping this team pointing in the right direction?
Yeah, all my teammates at dropping bombs. You know, you got Jordan, Jonathan, Mike tonight, Tyler. He's not here, but you know, Brett Egger. He helps us out a lot and some of the other stuff we do. But yeah, all the guys, man. It's a fun crew, and we enjoy racing together. Same with these guys in here that I never race with. I tell you what, I mean, there's whatever 18, 20 cars the last couple of weeks. We got some good guys, respectful guys in here. I mean, this is only going to get better as it goes. And, I hope to see, 40 cars out here racing respectful and having a good time. It'll be great.
Well, always a pleasure, Steve. We appreciate your kind words as well, and hope to see you do well in the future as well, my friend.
Yep, James, thank you as well for hosting and broadcasting. Sorry I left that out.
Always a pleasure, man. No worries, Steve. We'll see you next time.
Yep, take care, buddy.
And up next, the man of the hour, Jonathan Bronson in the number 1 machine, bringing it home. Jonathan, you've got to be ecstatic up here. We know you had a rough week at Charlotte, but it's got to feel good to be back out on top here today.
Oh, it feels really good. We had a really good car tonight, a lot of speed, really solid, like the whole race.
Now, Jonathan, we kind of talked to the other drivers, and kind of one of the common points is everybody seems to be surprised at how clean it is. Or do you enjoy these long green flag runs, or are you more of a short stint kind of guy in which you prefer?
Honestly, I kind of like both. The long runs really brings out who has the best car over the course of 60, 70 laps, but the short runs can definitely be a lot more packed and have a lot more people, but it really just depends on who you're racing against.
Well, always great to see you guys keep it so clean. Only 1 caution out of 175 laps. I'd say that's pretty darn good from you and your fellow competitors. I mean, what was the plan with pit stop strategy here tonight? We know you guys are really good at it, sometimes taking fuel early, sometimes taking it later. How do you decide when you're going to add that extra 5 gallons in the middle of your race?
Honestly, we didn't really have much of a fuel strategy to begin with. We were just gonna run it all the way out and then pit, but towards the end, we were kind of deciding what we were gonna do. And there at the end, I decided to short pit it a little bit, and it worked out.
Well, Jonathan, great job out there again, scoring the team some pretty big points, extending that points lead for Drop and Bomb Racing. I know Tyler McRae, he was unable to make it tonight, but he's got to be ecstatic for you guys. Now, before I let you sign off and go celebrate, pop champagne or Kool-Aid or whatever it may be, who would you like to give a shout-out to that's helping you out behind the scenes?
I'd like to give a huge shout out to the whole DVR team and just helping me with the setup, the fuel strategy, racing with them, just everything that they do. They're such a big help. And pretty much just all the competitors that put this league up, all the officials, everyone that does what they do and allows us to race.
Well, always a pleasure, Jonathan. Great having you up on the podium, man. We hope to see you do well more in the future as well, and wish you the best of luck at Homestead next week.
Thank you.
And that is going to do it for round 2 of the Pro Street Stock Series, sponsored by East Action Sports. On behalf of all of our competitors, I've got to say thank you all for tuning in. That was a fantastic race tonight. Only 1 caution in 175 laps. All these competitors deserve a round of applause and a big pat on the back. On behalf of Team Goon Squad Broadcasting, I'm James East, wishing you a happy and safe evening, and we'll see you same time, same place next week.